I feel like Matt Damon in The Martian, where like when he does the video chats and it just gets worse and worse every time he gets on it, to like the end where he's like, oh fuck it, this is a new video chat.
I also feel like this is like the Martian, where we all just look worse every week and every week are so tired.
All right. Welcome to the Wallcast. This is our episode. I lost count at this point.
8.
I'm just going to leave it as I lost count, just like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Short podcast today. Sam, Matthew, and I will be entertaining you this week. Got some news to talk about, some updates on the store, as well as what we've been doing in the past week during quarantine. Yeah, we can start with store updates. So thank you guys for the donations so far. So we've raised about $245. We've had a lot of fans and good feedback from it. So I want to shout out to everybody that's given a donation. It is still running. It's going to run probably until we reopen, which hopefully should be soon. Once we reopen, we're going to put stuff, or prior to us reopening, we're going to put a bunch of stuff up. Directions and any kind of stuff that you guys think we should know about reopening, staying safe, clean, and healthy, as well as store sales and what we're going to do going forward. As always, if you guys have any questions, you could always email us or post it up on the Facebook. Today is also Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there who are listening. So that's pretty much it for the news for the store. News as far as what's going on in pop culture, there's 2 rumors going around that Keanu Reeves will either be Ghost Rider or John Constantine again.
I definitely hope for John Constantine.
Or possibly both, I guess. I don't really know how that would work.
Well, DC's contracting would probably allow him to be in a Marvel movie, but who knows if Marvel's contracting will allow him to be in a DC movie.
True.
I would love if he could be in both.
Yeah, DC's very open with their actors on, if they have other projects they want to work on while shooting, stuff like that. They'll let them pretty much do anything, which is good because DC needs something. But Marvel's definitely known for, like, you're on the project, you're on this fucking project, do not deviate.
That's very Disney.
Yeah. I mean, I personally would rather see him as Constantine over Blaze. But if I had to choose.
We've seen him as Constantine. I'd honestly prefer to be the guy who's been playing Constantine in the voice acting and did the first and only season of the show.
Yeah.
And then get Keanu Reeves as Ghost Rider, just be a different type of role.
I mean, I know I'm definitely in the minority with saying that I really enjoyed the Constantine movie.
I did too.
I know there's just a lot of people that don't like it.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I get it. I just thought it was a pretty cool movie. I'm kind of a sucker for anything like religiously themed or things like that.
Well, there's not really that much. Like, DC definitely has more animated content, I would say, than Marvel.
Definitely better animated
and it's
content.
definitely better. But when you really think about it, there's really not a whole lot of DC content out there. There's way more Marvel content in general than there is DC content, and it's not as good.
Well, I mean, the other medium too that DC has is the games, like the Batman.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's when's the last time there was a good Marvel game? I mean, Spider-Man, and that's really been the only good. But that's been the only.
Yeah, that is true. That is pretty much one of the only. Good.
Unless you're a big fan of Ultimate Alliance
or the Lego Avengers games.
Yeah, because those sound so entertaining.
I mean, Lego games are always fun.
Awful.
Yeah, they are.
But there's that, and then there's DC's new animated Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, I believe is the full title.
What a title.
How many colons are in that title?
I don't know. It's weird. It's pretty much just a Flashpoint movie again, which I would say that it's almost as good as the first Flashpoint movie. It's pretty dark, a lot of gruesome, horrible scenes, which I was kind of surprised to see. Like, you literally see the Justice League, like, disemboweled. which I was kind of.
Well, even for the first Justice League Dark movie, like when they first open up, where everybody's like seeing demons,
Or there's like the shit monster in the hospital.
Yeah, and they're just murdering everybody. Like, there's some definitely like gritty scenes in that. I mean, you know, DC's kind of always been known for that. Now is like the dark and gritty, and
this was way darker than I imagined. Like, the first Flashpoint movie was pretty dark. This one was definitely even more dark, but super entertaining. I've watched every single animated DC film, and I believe I've watched. No, I can't say I've watched every animated show, but most of them.
Yeah, you watched the DC Power Girls or Supergirl. What is
That's
that show
what I'm
called?
saying. I don't even know what it's called. Also, I finished Clone Wars season 6, which I believe it's season 6, right?
Season 7 is the
Season
last
7.
season.
Yeah, I finished season 7.
I heard it was really good.
It starts off super slow with a lot of stuff that doesn't really matter at all in any form, like pretty much every Star Wars thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the last 3 episodes are really good, and it gives you like a big like reason to why Ahsoka exists and is like one of the only surviving Jedi, which makes The Last Jedi moot in general.
The last couple episodes are Order 66, right?
So no, it's the last episode is Order 66.
Oh, okay.
And it literally shows you like it's a spoiler, but it's a spoiler, but it's not. Like, obviously, if you watch any part of it, you know
movies,
it. But no, what I'm saying is Ahsoka survives.
Oh yeah.
So it shows you how Ahsoka survives, which is completely like when Ahsoka comes back. She doesn't come back to the Jedi Council, but she goes on a mission. She goes on the last Jedi mission, pretty much, besides Obi-Wan's mission to destroy Grievous. And it's spectacular. Like, it shows her come back, and she like pretty much bodies Mandalore by herself. Which, if you know anything about Mandalorians and Mandalore anything, they're pretty badass themselves, and she pretty much bodies the entire planet and Darth Maul at the same time. But it shows you, like, it gives you like a look and like why Darth Maul survived and why Darth Maul is kind of a pivotal character. Like, it pretty much gets to a point where Ahsoka and Darth Maul have a point where they can stop Order 66, and Ahsoka doesn't trust Maul, and they don't. Which, again, like Star Wars, because they wrote themselves into a corner, constantly going back and showing you, hey, this could have happened, but obviously it didn't. Because the entire Star Wars franchise was pretty much summed up in the 3 movies in the 70s and 80s. But it gives you a point. Like, also another big announcement in Star Wars news. I can never remember his name, but the original actor from the Clone Wars who played Jango Fett, which, if you know, is the person that all the clones are made from, Jango Fett. He is returning. The actor himself is returning to be Boba Fett in The Mandalorian.
Oh, I saw that.
Which is not big news for me because I can't stand Boba Fett. I think he's one of the most useless characters ever created. Yes, I will say it. It also goes to show
It's
you
okay
too,
to be wrong.
It also, bringing it back to the Clone Wars, the first part of season 7, the episodes I'm talking about are useless, are the ones where it's Ahsoka just being like a normal like person in space. And it just, again, goes to show you that nobody gives a fuck about normal people in Star Wars. Normal people have no reason to exist in Star Wars.
I mean, I care about normal
like
people.
The Clone Wars series, you have so much focus on the actual clones and their stories and stuff like that. And
But it's all
people.
But it's all revolving around the Jedi and Sith.
I mean, yeah.
I'm mainly calling out.
There are a lot of episodes in the Clone Wars that are literally just centered around clones.
No
Jedi, no Sith. It's just clones of droids.
I'm mainly calling out like Rogue One. Like Rogue One, the movie literally needed.
There was a Force-sensitive person in there.
Oh God, they needed to put Darth Vader in that, or like Solo, they needed to put Darth Maul in that and have that weird Force-sensitive moment at the end of it, where they reveal Darth Maul. Like Star Wars just doesn't work without Jedi and Sith, which is extremely important to the story, and I feel like they just don't admit it. But Mandalorian, I mean, I am excited for it. It's going to be kind of cool to see Boba Fett back, even though I really dislike his character. It's cool just because I like Jango Fett to me is better than Boba Fett. Because at least he dies like
Hot takes.
Getting decapitated
by a Jedi, not tripping over Luke and falling into the Sarlacc.
I mean,
after
Boba
30
also-
seconds of screen time.
Boba also does get killed by a Jedi, but sure.
He does?
Luke fucking slices open his jetpack and it causes him to fucking crash straight into the
on
Sarlacc
accident.
pit.
On accident, because Boba Fett wasn't paying attention.
Sure.
That's literally the scene.
No, it's not. He's flying. He fucking cuts his jetpack and he fucking whiffs off into the Sarlacc pit.
Nope. That's not how it happens. That's not how it happens. Luke gets his lightsaber. His hands are still bound. Boba Fett has his back turned to him. He's fighting Han Solo, I believe. And Luke just slices his backpack and off he goes. You can look it up all you want.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm literally watching the Sarlacc pit battle.
Oh my God.
God, these ships look so bad.
Yeah.
Give us a play-by-play, Matt.
It's also the best part of Boba Fett's character. So it introduces us to the best part of that scene, the Sarlacc pit.
I don't care about Lando wrestling with
Oh,
Gamorrean
God, yeah.
guards. Here's Boba Fett. There he goes flying in.
Yeah.
Lands.
Yeah.
Gets his gun caught immediately in half.
So instantly useless. Then he ties up Luke. Then he just, I don't even know what that, he trips.
I mean, he gets stunned by a blast right next to him.
Oh, you know what? It's not even Luke. My bad. No, it's not Luke. That's right. Keep watching. It's even worse than what I said. Yep, it's Han blindly swinging around a staff that kills him. Sorry. I stand corrected. It was even worse than I thought. Just think.
He's still alive, though.
Just that all those 6 minutes
He's
just
still
to
alive.
see that. Yeah, it's great. So that's the Star Wars talk for this podcast, like we do every podcast where we argue about Star Wars.
It always comes up, man.
Just
It
like
really
the most
does.
natural Star Wars fan in their natural habitat is arguing and screaming at each other about
Yep.
fucking pointless, shitty movie details.
Classic.
Here, please go.
I'm trying to think too. I think that's it as far as like all the news I saw that at least was interesting. Little Richard died.
Yeah, that was actually kind of.
Yeah.
Roy. I can never
Yeah,
remember his
from
last
Siegfried
name.
and Roy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just bring
Which-
the podcast right down in tone.
I'm still sad that I mean, for me, like I love Team Fortress 2. And
Yeah.
the voice actor for Soldier, like he just recently died, Rick Mayfield. Which was
That's sad.
it was kind of cool. Like they put like memorials for the soldier and like all the different maps and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's kind of crazy how many like actual like known people have been unfortunately
Dying?
passing from it too.
Not Tom
Yeah.
Hanks though. Tom Hanks made it through that.
Thank
Why?
God.
Are you surprised? How long did he run for? His lungs must be fucking impervious. Like, how would he?
I was gonna say if you could survive on a desert island with
I
just
wanted
a
to make the
volleyball.
Castaway joke, but I figured the Forrest Gump one would have been better.
I like the jokes. I have a news thing. Did you
Shoot.
guys see that Tom Cruise and Elon Musk are partnering up with NASA to make the first movie in space?
Wow.
Yep.
I'm just really happy that the headline you were going for had Elon Musk in it and wasn't about his child's name.
We could talk about the child's
What
name,
is
but
this?
I think
Robot
space
noises is the child.
robot noises.
No, it's not.
No, it's not actually.
Oh,
no,
hold
it's
on.
worse.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna pull up the tweet, but let's stay on this movie thing for a hot minute. Apparently, it's gonna be an action movie, obviously, in outer space, and they're gonna shoot the film on the International Space Station and be transported using a SpaceX rocket. Because of course they are. But hold on, I'm pulling up Grimes' Twitter so we can talk about this baby name.
I'm very
Can you just
So-
pronounce that for me? That's the son's name.
the
That's the
XA. What the fuck?
Okay, so here's
It's Kyle. By the way.
it's pronounced like Kyle. So here's Grimes tweeted explaining like each letter of that name. And it's okay. So she's got bullet points and it's X, the unknown variable, sword emoji. AE, my elven spelling of AI, parentheses, love and or artificial intelligence. A12, the precursor to the SR-17, our favorite aircraft. No weapons, no defenses, just speed, great in battle, but non-violent. Heart emoji, plus sign. A equals Archangel, my favorite song. Parentheses, sword emoji, rat emoji, metal rat, close parentheses. And then Elon Musk tweeted her and said, no, it's an SR-71, but yes.
SR-17, my favorite ship, but I got the name wrong.
Can we talk about the fact that part of their baby is named after a fucking plane?
I don't even know how to respond to that. Besides the fact that that's actually a baby name that's worse than Kim and Kanye's baby names.
It's a pretty bad baby name. Which also, did you guys know that Elon Musk has 7 children?
What?
Are you sure they're not clones?
He has other children. This isn't his first baby.
I didn't know that. Did you know that Elon Musk dropped his stock by just an absolute unimaginable amount by tweeting on Twitter, how can my stock be worth this much?
I did see that. Did you see he posted a photo with his baby and he's not wearing a mask in it? It's like him with the newborn and just not wearing a mask. Yeah. This is the second time today I've talked about this baby because my mom was asking about it and she was like, who the fuck is Grimes?
Oh my God. I can't even muster at something to say about that just because.
I can't musker.
Because it should just, oh my God. Because it should just be very obvious that that's just simply just the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
It is the dumbest fucking thing, but it's still fun to talk about.
I mean, I get money, like naming something in terms of expressiveness.
Nope, there's no way to justify it.
You typically reserve that for like an animal or pet or maybe something that you use a lot. Like,
yeah.
if you want to do something like that, that's cool. Naming your child who's going to have to grow up in life being called
SR-71.
I just love all the fucking memes that are coming from it where it's like
Elon
Musk's child speaking his first words and it's literally just incoherent like computer noise.
I was on a podcast where they asked him how to pronounce the baby's name and he, 1, didn't answer the question. 2, referred to Grimes as my partner as if we don't know that Grimes is his partner.
Wait, is he gay?
Oh.
No, people use my partner and well, I don't know what Grimes identifies as.
Yeah.
But
alien species.
I always thought that partner was like
no, they're like
there's kind of a movement to have straight people use it more, so that way it gets more normalized in like. Well,
I mean, as I say,
culture.
It's still fairly common, like heterosexual relationships to say
my partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, he referred to her as my partner, and I was like, we all fucking know that it's Grimes. But yeah, it's a thrill. I had to make my mom listen to Grimes this morning because I was like, she's like a singer. And my mom was like, what type of music? And I was like, here we go. Let's pull up Archangel.
I mean, I honestly don't know. I've never heard that name.
Well, Archangels is legitimately one of my favorite albums. But her new album is trash. Grimes discourse on the podcast today.
I also don't understand how that happens. Like, how does an artist create an album that's just spectacular and amazing and everybody loves, and then immediately release another album that everybody just shits all over?
By getting by getting into a relationship with Elon Musk.
Well, I mean, not even just that. It's extremely common for like an artist to make an album, and then because of the kind of standing the album has within the community of the people that listen to it, it's very hard to kind of follow that up. And especially if the artist wants to do something different, that can always go wrong.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, I can understand creating, like, whatever, a Grammy Award-winning album and triple diamond platinum records and all that. No, but I'm just saying in general, creating something that everybody truly enjoys and loves. And then creating something that everybody truly fucking can't stand and hate.
I mean, because
I don't understand.
It's because being a creative is hard and making good content is difficult. And constantly making good stuff is hard.
I feel like if
sometimes when you get to that position, you can literally re-release the exact same album, and then people will say, "Oh, it's completely uninspired. I don't like it. Blah blah blah. It doesn't have the same sound that the other."
Oh yeah.
People will
glad I'm not
find ways to shit on it.
I know that this is
what it is.
I know that this is a complete moot saying because of the situation that we're all in due to COVID, but people have way too much fucking time on their hands.
Too much time on my
I mean, yeah.
Like, in the normal world, people have too much time on their hands.
I mean, I mean, yeah, that's how like I feel about most like fandom like discourse.
I feel like this is all able to happen because it's not like we have to like survive on a day-to-day basis. We kind of just are able to exist.
I mean, and I mean, it's kind of nice to have conversations about like content that you consume and stuff.
I also feel
but
like the average person just has no real like want or need to know anything about the truth or real news or anything. That it's all just fake news and propaganda and.
I mean, you know, I am aggressively involved in like political news, but I also will spend a decent amount of time discussing Elon Musk and Grimes' baby. The human brain can do both.
But it can't pronounce Elon Musk's child's name.
No, because it doesn't make any fucking sense. My sister was talking about like, she was like, do you think when he goes to school, and I was like, first of all, won't go to school. But she was like, if he fills out a Scantron, do you think A&E is one box or do you think it's two boxes?
Oh shit, that's gotta be. It's one character, so it's gotta be one box.
Yeah, and I was
They'll
like,
have to
you
do
know,
that every time
Elon
they call
Musk
attendance.
Yeah, Elon Musk's baby is not gonna fucking go to school.
What's worse, that or the kid that was named Hashtag?
There was a kid named Hashtag.
Yeah, wow.
You know, I think Hashtag might be worse.
You think so?
Because
it has literally no meaning. It's just like
I think Hashtag is worse. Because it's like, I mean, at least not to give Elon Musk and Grimes credit, but there's more like thought behind that name.
Yeah. Well,
where Hashtag is just fucking stupid.
It's not much thought because he's a fucking robot. So
no, it's not much thought. And I'm convinced.
Both.
And he's probably with Grimes because he thinks that she's an alien.
I have no idea who this Grimes person is.
I mean,
you should listen to her music, Frank. I'm gonna give you a homework assignment, and it's to listen to Art Angels. So
that I can bash it on next week's podcast.
Yes, and I can defend it. It'll be great. It'll be great content.
I feel like I'm definitely gonna bash it now.
No, you will bash it. Frank, I have never recommended anything to you then. You wouldn't bash.
I will say that I tried to watch The Lighthouse the other night.
Oh, are you gonna bash it?
No, I made it to the opening credits and turned it off.
Why can you not just get past the fact that it's black and white?
Because it's 2020, Sam. There should not be any black and white movies.
But the style, but it's.
I don't care about artistic style of fucking black and white. It's 2020. Give me fucking 4K, HD, color.
Dude, why can't you appreciate that black and white is an aesthetic choice and it looks good?
Awful. Absolutely awful.
It captures the light so well, though, Frank.
I'm really for aesthetic reasoning within movies.
I am fully for aesthetic reasoning. I have watched many a movie for the aesthetic alone.
Yeah.
If it's not in black and white, I would agree.
Why do you hate that? I don't understand. Frank, I hope you go colorblind and that every movie you watch from here on out is black and white. No, The Lighthouse slaps. I will defend it to this day.
Well, moving on.
Big fan.
People have actually been posting about Robert Pattinson playing the Joker. Like I saw this meme the other day.
Batman?
Wait, do you mean Batman?
Yeah, Batman. Yeah, whatever he's gonna be. And I saw this thing. It was like, you know, like a whole list of all like these other DC characters, like Ben Affleck and Will Smith, and people that people bash playing, and they're trying to defend Robert Pattinson. And then it's just people just fucking literally straight up bashing Robert Pattinson.
I love that you're gonna come for me right now.
Listen, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I gave Ben Affleck the benefit of the doubt. That's what I'm doing. Yep.
Yeah, give him the benefit of the doubt. And I mean, if nothing else, he'll be a hot Batman, and that's at least we'll have that.
He literally looks like he's sick all the time.
No, dude, have you looked at pictures of him that were not from the set of Twilight?
Yes, he looks sick.
No, he doesn't.
He
just has a good jawline.
He looks like he's a POW.
Jesus Christ.
Dude.
I'm just saying, he looks very sickly.
He doesn't. Also, don't you know, Frank, that that's like the trend to like for people to find like hot? There's aggressively like a group like teenage girls love boys that look like they have to feed them soup. Timothy Chalamet, Robert Pattinson.
I don't know who the fuck is Timothy Chalamet.
How do you not know who the fuck Timothy Chalamet is? I bring him up all the time.
I also don't know who that is.
Let me pull up a picture of him.
What's he been in?
I'm trying to think of a movie he's been in that you've seen. I don't know if you've seen any of the movies he's in, but he's basically like, he you know,
Like a
big
real
like
person?
art house movies. Like he was in The King on Netflix, but you probably didn't watch that.
I don't even know.
That's the only thing I think you might have watched, but he was in Lady Bird and Call Me by Your Name, and you know, Lady Bird's I love that movie. But this is Timothy Chalamet. I needed to like white balance.
He looks like the guy in You in real life.
You know, the guy in You is like a real person.
No, but I'm saying it looks like he plays him, and it looks like he is him in real life.
See, like that's the thing though. Like bitches love a guy with like
He
a
kind of
sharp
just looks like
jawline.
he looks like Michael Jackson there, except it definitely looks like he's wearing lipstick to match his shirt in that picture.
I mean, all four guys can wear makeup. That's fine. But bitches love a dude who has a sharp jawline and looks like that they would have to like give him medication.
I really hope we don't come out of quarantine.
The human race doesn't make it.
Yeah, I hope the world just ends.
It's okay. You don't have to think Timothy Chalamet's hot, Frank. It's fine.
In any news,
that's like Dan,
What
like
is this fucking podcast?
like Dan posted the other day on Facebook saying that Captain America is the worst Marvel
I
character
saw he
in
posted
Avengers.
that. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Like our Dan, like
Yeah,
podcast Dan?
Dan, who's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I literally
Why
commented.
the fuck would he write that?
I literally commented and I told him that I hope the quarantine doesn't end. Because that is the worst fucking thing I've ever heard. And like Bleak or Aaron, who's also been on the podcast, commented and said, "How can you say that when Falcon exists?" Or Mark Ruffalo.
Man,
Or Mark Ruffalo. not even Hulk, just Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, I wish Mark Ruffalo didn't exist.
Dude,
He's
what the fuck? Mark Ruffalo's a great dude.
terrible.
Donates money to charity all the time.
Have you seen the photo of? I think it's Tom Hiddleston, fucking Chris Hemsworth, and I can't remember who the third person is, but it was literally like during shooting for, I think it was Ragnarok,
Mm-hmm.
and they were literally lying, like they were like snuggled together on one couch. And it was
That's
fucking
so cute.
Mark Ruffalo who took the picture and uploaded it to Facebook like he was
I love
fucking
that.
dad of the group.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I love that. Also,
I mean-
add Tom Hiddleston to the list of celebrities that are small men that women love.
Yeah.
Like, he's tall as fuck, but he literally looks like a skeleton. He looks
Who,
like he has
Tom?
to, yes, he looks like he has to paint his skin out in the morning.
Tom Hiddleston's actually kind of
Dude.
ripped.
Tom Hiddleston is ripped.
Yeah.
Really? He always
He's
looks-
pretty. Hold on.
Like there's
Tom
only been like a
Hiddleston's
few
shirtless,
roles that
if I
he's been
have
in where
to
like he
look at
takes off it, but he's like shredded.
I'm pulling up a shirtless photo of Tom Hiddleston.
I don't
Look
think
what
I've
you guys make
seen
me do.
him. I've never seen him.
Also not Tom Hiddleston, Tom Holland.
Oh, I mean
Yeah,
Tom
who are we
Holland
talking
is also shredded for like a
Who are we talking about? I'm sorry.
Hiddleston.
Hiddleston. We were talking about Hiddleston. He is shredded though. Hold on.
Tom Holland just looks
Tom
like a
Hiddleston.
baby. He looks like they photoshopped his face on an underwear model there. Literally. It looks like they photoshopped him in a Hanes commercial. Like Michael Jordan's going to come out of the back and hand him a package of Hanes underwear.
I like that the universe where Tom Hiddleston does an underwear shoot just doesn't exist to you. Here's another one.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess.
To our audio listeners, pause the
still looks
podcast to
sick.
go look up Tom Hiddleston shirtless.
Shirtless, yes.
Here, we'll look
Speaking
up
of-
Tom Holland too.
speaking of buff shirtless men, I just recently watched Baki, or started watching Baki on Netflix. And it's trying to think of the best way to describe it. Like, it's kind of like the Dark Tournament arc for Yu Yu Hakusho, but instead it's just all actual like fighting and like.
So they don't have superpowers.
They don't, but like they're so unbelievably strong that like they have to have some sort of extra ability, and it's kind of like where I'm at in the show. They're kind of alluding to something more happening, but it hasn't been divulged on or explained. But like it's based around like these five like just super murderers pretty much are all converging to one. Like they all break out of prison at the same time. and are all heading to Tokyo at the same time. And they all leave these letters behind of like, I'm heading to Tokyo to taste defeat.
Ooh.
And so like the whole premise of it is that in Tokyo there's this young man named Baki who won like this super prestigious martial arts tournament at the age of 17, which has legitimately never been done before. And so now they're all coming to fight him. And so there's literally a team of 5 that are bad and a team of 5 that are good. And the tournament is that the tournament can have like a match can start anytime, anywhere. There are no rules. So like for example, like one of the dudes literally just shows up at Baki's school. Like he literally like he's at school and he just like the teacher comes over and starts like reprimanding him because he's failing in everything except for gym, of course. And so he's like, gym, he's like, brain or muscle power won't get you anywhere. He's like, I don't care how many muscles you have, you can't go from the ground floor to the second floor or the third floor in one bound. You need stairs, and it's science and mind power that has brought us those stairs. And while he's diverging on all of this, one of the dudes literally, like, it shows him, like, walking up to the school, and he just jumps and just crashes right through the fucking window.
Oh my god.
It's a really cool show so far. The animation's definitely a bit rough at times, but the fight scenes are really well choreographed and the characters are super interesting. Like one of the like good guys, quote unquote, is like a mob boss. And he fights.
Sounds like Frank's Speed.
Huh? Yeah.
I said sounds like Frank's Speed.
Where like so they show like throughout the generations of Mob Boss from Mob Boss, they get this giant tattoo on their back, and it's supposed to be like the sentinel that had guarded the first father line of the family of bosses. And so he gets the tattoo, and he's like, "It's not finished. It's not done." And they're like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, a sentinel, they're called sentinels. He's like, a sentinel isn't a sentinel until he has scars. And so he goes to another rival gang's headquarters and single-handedly beats them all to death. And like it shows like a couple of his like underlings get a call and like, where's Mr. Hanuman? He's at the headquarters. Like, what the fuck? And like they race over there and they show them like walking in, and it's just like it's just all these men that are just like ripped, mangled, torn apart pretty much. And they finally get to the top floor where he's at, and he's just standing there in front of this other dude whose head is legitimately through a wall. And he like turns around and he's just covered in head to toe from like cuts, scratches, fucking bullet marks, the whole 9. And he's like, the painting is now done, and just leaves. And
damn,
like, he's the first one to have he's the first one to draw blood, pretty much, like actually kill one of the other evil dudes. And the fight scene is just fucking ridiculous. Like it almost reminds me of a JoJo fight scene where everything is so improvised and kind of just out of the blue that you don't expect it, and it works so well for it.
Speaking of JoJo, Sam,
hella.
Have you gotten any further?
No. I'm on hiatus from JoJo's.
I was just talking to Trent. He just finished part 2 as well.
Look at us.
I don't know if he started part 3 yet, but
I'm gonna get back to it. I just
Well, I finished part 3.
in the vibe.
Yeah, you finished part 3.
How many parts are there?
Too many.
In animated or in
animated?
In animated, there are 5 total animated parts.
Okay.
In the manga, there's 8. And
gotcha.
Number 8 is still being done.
Gotcha. Okay.
I feel like I'm running a gauntlet trying to finish Supernatural.
Running a gauntlet. It's a long ass show, man.
Yeah, it's like I was not prepared for how long it actually is. Like
it's fucking long.
45 minutes an episode, 22 episodes roughly per season, 14 seasons.
Yeah, I don't know how I watched it at like 15. I don't know how the fuck I did it. I could never do that now.
There's 327 total episodes.
Insane. If you told me that there was a show that had 327 episodes and all of them were 40 minutes long, I would fucking never.
Nope. But there's like, it's kind of cool. Like there's a lot of callbacks and a lot of Easter eggs.
I mean, it's a good show.
That's what I find most interesting is there's a lot of Easter eggs like to other shows. Like they were literally like doing like a hunt on like a movie set in the episode I watched last night. And they were literally like on the set of the Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
which I thought was cool, or like,
which is cool because Jared Padalecki was in Gilmore Girls.
or like, you know, like sometimes when they're like sitting in a hotel room, like they'll be reading like a comic book, like stuff like that. Like they were reading oh shit, what was the comic they were reading the other day, or the other episode? No, because it's I didn't realize it was a CW show.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all sorts
there
of
are Warner Brothers rights in it, yeah.
So there's all sorts of like crossovers and like other character actors and stuff like that in it, and I had no idea, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good show. Used to be a big
I'll probably
fan.
die before I finish it.
The only other thing I've watched that's noteworthy was the new Rick and Morty episode, which, I mean, some people really hated it, but I think a lot of the people that really hated it kind of missed out on the entire point of the episode.
Rick and Morty being divisive? Who knew?
I know, right? It's insane. Absolutely crazy. Never heard of it.
I've just given up on Rick and Morty. Like, I'll watch it, but I'm not investing anything into Rick and Morty anymore.
I mean, the new episode was definitely good. Like, it was a very solid episode, but, like, I am definitely one of those people, like, I feel like Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland kind of want to get back to that, season 1 and 2 writing where
they had lazy and useless.
Okay, dude.
Season 1 and 2 of Rick and Morty are by far like the best that the show has offered.
No, but that's what I'm saying. When they weren't lazy and useless, implying that they are now.
I would say in plot terms, they were more lazy and more useless because they didn't really care about the plot.
At least they could put an episode together in a reasonable amount of time.
Dude.
It really makes me angry. It makes me furious, Rick and Morty. Just talking about Rick and Morty makes me angry.
Anyway,
so, Matt, could talk about the new episode, Matt.
Thank you. So, it was definitely a very good episode. I'm definitely one of those people that want to see more plot elements come out of the show. And I mean, even with seasons 2 and 3, the way they kind of like I liked season 3 way of doing the plot, where that was definitely more of an episode by episode kind of season. But it still also kind of wasn't. I really liked that style, and I kind of hope they end up going back to that, because I don't think doing it one way or the other is the answer. I think they need to have both.
Well, you'll find out next year when the next episode comes out.
I mean, the next episode's coming out tonight at 11.
So I was going to say, isn't it? It's tonight.
It's back to normal.
Did somebody abduct them and put them in a room with guns to their
head?
head?
It wasn't even like that long. It's okay.
They took a mid-season break after 3 episodes.
I mean, again,
that's what
I'm a
shows
Steven
do.
I was a Steven Universe
months.
fan. This is absolutely fucking.
Yeah, I have literally waited forever for fucking shows all the time. Remember?
The only show that
I will never forget watching Steven Universe episode by episode, where one week, oh wow, here's a Steven bomb, guys. There's 4 episodes here. Great, we'll be back in fucking half a year. See you later. And then just that, literally for like an entire season.
The only show that I can say that, I mean, I guess you could say that I did that with, that's not me waiting for a dub, like, because I do that all the time where I'm just waiting for a dub because I refuse to watch sub.
You're so fucking annoying.
Is the Clone Wars for season 7. Waiting for season 7 was like, it's been like 3 or 4 years.
Dude, we waited like 2. We waited like 2.
You just watched it.
Dude, we waited like 2 fucking years for the end of Game of Thrones.
True.
So we just all forget that.
I try to forget that Game of Thrones even existed.
Or imagine being a Walking Dead fan.
Yeah, that's why I stopped being one. That's literally why The Walking Dead to me, I used to watch that all the time. I remember like I watched the first 2 seasons like on AMC. And then I waited, like I fell behind and I stopped watching it. And then I literally binge watched like all the way up until Negan. And then when I found out that they were going on that hiatus again, I just cut it off there and stopped watching it.
See, I stopped watching it because it was fucking boring.
Well, I was going to say, I stopped watching because it got bad.
Like I really wanted to watch like the Negan story arc and all that. And just once I found out they went on hiatus and they were delaying and all, I just said fuck it and just gave up on it.
I mean, I don't want to shit on The Walking Dead because I mean there are a lot of people out there who love it. It's just not.
Come for us, drag us.
I liked the comics for the most part.
Yeah.
Well,
the comics are far superior to the show.
Well, I like the idea of the survivors are the true evil and the true thing that you have to be worried about. And I mean, I get that. It's just the show had so many points where just absolutely nothing was happening that it just
What do you mean? There was a whole like 3 episodes where what was the guy's name? Herschel, where Herschel shows Rick and Carl how to grow plants.
I mean, okay, that sounds my speed. But otherwise, I agree with
plant training arc. How could I forget such a pivotal moment? Can I just say how mad I was? So early Walking Dead, you had Dal, who was the dude with the RV. He was like the voice of reason, the old man wise character, that kind of stereotype. They literally kill him to bring Herschel in, who is the exact fucking same in almost every single regard, almost to the point of appearance, looks the exact fucking same, and literally just bring him in so Maggie can be a love interest. And save Carl.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Herschel was brought in because that fat guy shoots Carl.
Well, he gets a collateral, yeah.
Well, yeah, shoots him through the deer, but yeah, which was hilarious.
Oh my god.
That was one of the last episodes where I was watching it as it released. That was one of the last episodes I saw because that was right before the hiatus, one of the first hiatuses.
Well, what I early Walking Dead, when they killed Shane, I was dumbfounded that they did that, and then I wanted to see where the show went from there, and then they spent an entire season in a prison where there's 3 episodes where something actually happens.
That's where I stopped watching.
But they stopped feeding the walkers.
But they introduced you to Michonne, which was my favorite. Michonne and Daryl are my favorite characters in The Walking Dead.
That's fair.
And Abraham. I really liked Abraham.
Abraham was cool.
And you get all these new characters, and I thought that was really cool. And then they just started randomly just every episode killing off a main character, which aside from Game of Thrones, nobody had been used to that. And I was kind of okay, where are they going with this? And then I realized it was just copy and paste. Every season was the same goddamn thing over and over and over again.
Let's kill 4 of our main characters so we can recycle them into new main characters that are almost the exact same.
Let's find a safe zone for half a season and then have that safe zone be ruined and then find a new one.
Terminus is kind of cool, though.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it just got monotonous and tedious is what that show, I think, really ended up. Where Game of Thrones just became shitty.
Yeah.
And I also really try to forget that Game of Thrones existed.
I mean, the fact that we are literally in a pandemic where we're forced to stay home and no one is talking about rewatching Game of Thrones tells you fucking everything about Game of Thrones.
And HBO has pushed it too. HBO has done huge mass pushes on every streaming service. I was just literally every time I open up Hulu, I have HBO through Hulu. Mm-hmm. Every time I open up my HBO section of Hulu, the first thing that pops up is Game of Thrones. Every time. And I have not watched Game of Thrones since the last episode.
Yeah. I mean, Game of Thrones is good up until the end. The ending arcs are trash. But before that, it's a great show. But the ending alone is enough to make me not want to rewatch it. Last time I watched it all the way through was before the last season.
I never rewatched.
Oh, I rewatched it in that 2-year waiting period.
I rewatched scenes and I rewatched specific episodes, shit that I didn't remember because it took them so long to come back. But
that's why I did it in the 2 years, because otherwise I wouldn't fucking remember what happened.
But I didn't rewatch. I could never sit through that, and especially now, knowing what's gonna end, knowing how it's gonna end, I could never rewatch it.
Yeah,
and I feel a lot of Game of Thrones, I feel a lot of the one thing I will say about Game of Thrones though is that the pivotal key points are burned into my memory.
Oh, because they're good. They're great scenes.
The Hound killing Oberyn. I don't think I will ever forget that as long as I live.
Cersei blowing up
the septum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is such a good scene. And that score in that scene.
Yes.
Bop.
Or literally in the first 3 episodes or 2 episodes when Jaime pushes Bran out the window.
That's the first episode. That's the end of the first episode.
As they show you him banging his sister.
Yeah. What a way to start a show.
Yeah. Won't ever forget that.
Yeah.
But
Game of Thrones was a good show. I mean, and there hasn't been anything that grabbed mainstream culture that much in a while.
I think the only thing that has a shot to do that is the Lord of the Rings TV show.
I don't know.
If they do it right. If it's
good.
If they do it doesn't even matter if it's good. If it's good or not will depend on where they start in the lore. If
when does that come out? I know we talk about
was
this. I
supposed
never
to
know when
already
this is
be out.
happening.
It was supposed to already be out, but it's delayed, so who knows?
Great.
But it needs to be like it needs to not be like it's. I know it's the Lord of the Rings, but I don't think it is the Lord of the Rings. It's supposed to be called something different.
Like it's just supposed to be in the universe, right? It's
That's
not
what I'm
like
saying. So
tied
it depends.
to
That's what I'm
main
saying. Is it depends
characters.
completely where in
setting.
that universe where they started.
I completely
Like if they start it with fucking Bilbo or Frodo again being in it, like nobody.
Please don't get like. Again, I love Bilbo and Frodo, but please give me something else.
I fucking hate Frodo, Sam.
Give me a TV
Well, I
show
don't
about
love
the Dwarf
Frodo,
Kingdom
but I love
before
the
Smaug
original
takes
Lord of the
over,
Rings.
and make it a sitcom.
Oh my god.
Make it a sitcom.
I'm being
love
serious.
a Lord of
I
the Rings
guarantee you
sitcom.
that would fucking work. So
I love that.
well.
Quick, Matt, get into TV production.
Oh my god.
I would love that.
There's a lot of stuff that they could do that I feel like would make great TV shows that would like be really super interesting. That they either have done and just done it wrong.
Well, no, I feel like the problem is it's so cookie cutter now. Like it's just generic action fantasy show. Generic faction or fantasy fucking movie. Like,
well, I feel like watching like Parks and Rec, for instance. Like I feel like Parks and Rec, The Office. Like I feel like they're all in the same vein of just the same type of show with just different characters.
I mean, they're definitely 100%.
Well, they do that on purpose.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, because The Office kind of set that all up. Like that.
Yeah.
The Office kind of created that genre, and
Yeah.
there were a lot of shows that tried to do it in their own way and do that. But I mean, I personally don't think anything captures it like The Office does.
No,
The Office is easily the best.
Yeah, I will kind of defend that.
Yeah,
point.
like Parks and Rec to me is not even close to The Office.
I like Parks and Rec too. Like I am a fan of Parks. I love Parks and Rec, but The Office is still my favorite.
I don't dislike it, but I would say that definitely like the first 2 seasons of Parks and Rec are probably some of the worst television I've ever watched in my life. Like
They're not funny.
Good. Like it's not. There's no like I cannot
say that, but then The Big Bang Theory exists.
Well, trash.
Well, I feel like every season of The Big Bang Theory is trash.
Yeah, it's all trash. You know what?
I
You know what's a good
don't even
show,
think.
though?
So here's an
You can
unpopular opinion. I don't think Big Bang Theory is that bad. I think if the writing was a bit easier on the nose, all the humor in it is just so fucking haha, I'm nerd laugh.
Yeah.
But, like there's a lot of the things in the show that are actually like written fairly well. And I think obviously the biggest problem is always within any sitcom TV show, a fucking goddamn laugh track. It is by far the worst fucking thing to ever be introduced to a medium.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
have you guys watched The Good Place?
Oh, actually, no. I really
that's
wanted to
very
watch
good.
That.
Watch what?
I heard that was good.
The Good Place.
The Good Place.
Oh,
should
that's
watch
with I love her. That's
Yes.
I don't know her name.
Shit.
Fucking
Kristen Bell.
yes. You guys should watch that show.
I
It's
thought
very
about
good.
Well, you know what?
I heard it was really good.
It's also short. Like there's not a
Really?
lot of. They just had their last season. I think the last season was like season 3.
Because
Season 3 or 4, but the episodes are only like 20 minutes long, like half an hour on TV, but without commercials.
Yeah.
How many seasons were there? Hold on, because I love that show. It was very good.
Because I watched. Did you ever watch Good Omens on Amazon?
No.
Oh, I really wanted to watch that.
That's
with
with,
Neil Gaiman, right?
It's Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
Neil Gaiman, but it's who's the doctor? Who is it? David Tennant? Is that his name?
Yeah, David Tennant.
Mm-hmm.
David Tennant and Michael Sheen, and one's a devil,
Devil,
one's an angel.
Don't they fuck?
No, I mean, I don't know. They
They should fuck.
do it, but no.
Yeah,
like,
The Good Place only has 4 seasons. So if you want a show, Rec.
I might watch that because you should watch Good Omens. That's a show. I think you would really like that show, Sam.
Yeah, I heard Good Omens was very good. I also know that Good Omens ran into a lot of shit because people were real upset about.
Yes. Because they use like a lot of things that they say and do in the show is like kind of like spot on Bible-ish.
Mm.
I mean, that's just Neil Gaiman being an asshole.
Yeah, that's
true.
I mean, you kind of got me on board just with like Neil Gaiman and David Tennant and.
Yeah. But David Tennant's character is by far one of the best characters. I mean, I would watch David Tennant in everything except Doctor Who. So
I mean, the only other show that I want to watch that's Neil Gaiman right now is I really still want to watch American Gods.
I don't.
See, you say that. I'm still super interested.
I was too, and then I watched like the first 3 episodes, and literally, the plot was just everywhere. That's the only way I can describe it. Is the story of American Gods, the TV show, is everywhere. There's like 80 different stories going on at once.
Like all through different perspective.
No, like it literally like it follows one. I mean, I guess it follows one character, but listen, it follows one character, but never to completion, never to any meaning, and it just keeps bouncing from character to character. But it's not the same situation. They're all doing their own thing. That it alludes to, it all lines up in the end.
Kind of sounds like a thing Matt would like.
Yeah,
it's
honestly.
just very scattered.
Like I said on the last podcast, I fucking love like multi-fucking perception stories. Like
the first season of Heroes.
I've never watched Heroes.
I honestly,
but also only watch the first season of Heroes. I can't emphasize how bad.
I just figured out what Heroes was
is.
through watching Supernatural, like what Heroes was.
You don't remember like Heroes like being advertised or any? I remember that.
I remember
the first season of Heroes is very good.
Didn't it come out in like 2006 or something like that?
It came out.
I don't fucking remember.
It came out around the same time as Smallville.
Which means Smallville came out in like what, 2004?
Something like that. Smallville.
I don't know when it came out.
I never finished Smallville, so I was gonna rewatch Smallville, but that's the same goddamn thing. It's like 45 minutes. There's like 22 episodes. There's like 10. There's like 280 episodes of Smallville, or there might be more Smallville actually. There might be more Smallville than Supernatural.
That's insane.
Yeah. I just want a new season of Lucifer. That's honestly the only comic book TV show that's like mainstream that I would say that I truly enjoyed. Besides, like I really liked Doom Patrol. That was really cool. But all the other ones are just become trash is the only way. Oh, actually, speaking of this, actually the other thing that I forgot to mention is Charlie Cox is slotted to be in the MCU as Daredevil.
Really?
Yep, which just sounds terrible, but
I mean,
why?
Because it's not going to be a good crossover. They're going to have to rewrite it to find a way to fit him in. And he's in Hell's Kitchen in New York, which in the MCU, introducing all these new New York characters. Yeah. Well, where were they during the Battle of New York? They were just chilling in their apartment?
Yep, they were just vibing.
I definitely think they made the wrong choice of having the Avengers main battle in New York.
Yep.
Because there's just so many.
No, I mean, here's the way it's going to work is the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Daredevil, all the other superheroes, they were just in the Baxter Building, just hiding.
You just rewrite your plot.
Or they were the ancient one killing the aliens that no one else noticed.
You just rewrite your plot to have Daredevil live in Pittsburgh.
The ancient ones thing kind of makes sense because why would any of them have left? None of them would have seen that.
Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, is flying around the city covering the perimeter in the beginning and towards the middle of the battle. That's what he's doing, is flying around the perimeter. They're trying to bottleneck the aliens into Avengers Tower. That's what
also, not to defend the MCU, but I will say at the time of the first Avengers, I don't think they were thinking that far, big picture yet. To be one day we're going to want to include Daredevil, so we can't do that.
No, Sam, definitely. By the time the first Avengers movie came out,
they kind of were though. They had thoughts.
They had set up almost an entire full vision and plan for the MCU since the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right.
When Iron Man shows up at the end of The Incredible Hulk, and he's like, we have an initiative, blah, blah, blah,
I always forget that's the end.
Yeah, and then Nick Fury comes and pitches it to him in the next movie.
No, Nick Fury pitches it to him at the end of Iron Man, which comes out. Well, they both came out in the same year.
Did they?
Yeah, they both came out in
2000. All a blur.
Yeah. But those two movies, they had an idea of where they were headed. And they knew that they didn't have licenses for 90% of the characters that they would need to use.
The one way I could see them doing is I could see them maybe saying oh, because we fucked with time is fucked up, and they show all these
they're totally gonna do a time thing.
The Fantastic Four is the Avengers in that universe. They're the ones that
another thing that actually makes me angry talking about.
But
the
time thing?
No, the MCU.
At this point, what else are they going to do? Where they're going to bring it in a cohesive manner?
I don't think it's going to be cohesive or make sense. I think that the Doctor Strange movie is literally just going to throw random shit in.
Can't wait for the Doctor Strange movie
I'm
still, though.
so
I'm
fucking
super
excited.
amped about that.
I want to see it. Like, I think it'll be good.
The original Doctor...
As long as they don't show Dormammu again. Or acid trip Dormammu. Whatever you want.
Dude. I fucking loved Doctor Strange. That was like the most recent MCU movie I watched because I missed it when it came to theaters. Fucking banger. Love that movie.
Saw it in theaters. And
I like that movie. Honestly, you know what I've been seeing a lot of people that are like rewatching the MCU movies is a lot of people are shitting all over Black Panther.
A lot of people are also shitting all over Ant-Man.
Really?
I like Ant-Man. This is a hot take.
I mean-
I like Ant-Man. He's the necessary comic relief, and the Ant-Man movies are fucking hilarious.
I
think
don't agree with the comic relief thing because I feel like they all try to be comic relief, Sam.
Yes, I also feel like that's a
I
problem.
mean, they a little bit all do, but Ant-Man, I think, does it like the
Ant-Man, the
best.
first movie, I actually just recently rewatched both those movies. Ant-Man 1 is good. Its origin, its building, it makes sense. Ant-Man 2 just didn't need to happen. Like, besides
What?
the ending.
I feel like I
Besides
don't
the-
remember what happens in Ant-Man 2, and that kind of says a lot.
They established the quantum realm.
Yeah, please. God, the quantum.
But didn't they just establish that in the first one?
Yes.
Kind of, but they didn't actually like go into the quantum realm. They pretty much just say the quantum realm is a place that exists. Don't ever fucking go there.
He goes into the quantum
Don't
realm
fucking go there. And then they
He
go there
does,
in the second
but not
one, right?
on. He doesn't want.
And he
to
doesn't go
to
back into the. They don't technically go back to the quantum realm till the end of Ant-Man 2.
Well, yeah, because fucking Janet's been stuck there.
Yeah, because Ghost and fucking Black Goliath, what is he called?
Goliath.
Is it? I thought it was.
It was Black Goliath,
Yeah.
but for reasons understandable, they changed it to just Goliath.
Yeah.
Because why does he need to be called Black Goliath? But I digress. The thing is, I don't know.
That was another African American superhero, by the way, that was around, I believe, in the '60s too.
Yeah, he had his debut very early on, but I think that was more of pandering and less of trying to make an actual good character.
But that's
that
just
is also
always, that's
black.
just always like the thing like that people always try to say is like there's too many like white male superheroes, which I mean I don't really disagree with, but there are a lot of like some of my favorite superheroes. Like Black Panther is one of my favorite superheroes by far. Like I think his origin, his story, all of it's spectacular.
I like Jon Stewart more.
I like Jon Stewart too. I'm trying to think who else too.
Name two.
No, but I was thinking like along like for me personally that are my favorites. Like I've always liked Wonder Woman.
Steel.
Steel's always been cool. What do you mean? Steel's cool?
Steel is not cool.
Listen, if you want, listen, Shaq as Steel was all we had in the 90s. Him and Blade were all we had in the 90s.
I mean, Blade was, honestly. Like, the first two Blade movies are genuinely good. And then the third one is just absolute dick. Just garbage.
The absolute dick.
Oh, you know what? Actually, you know what? I wanted to talk about this too. You know what I rewatched the other day? This is a super hot take. The Green Lantern movie was not that bad.
You're complaining about the way Dormammu looked, but not complain about fucking Parallax?
Let me finish. Let me finish. The origin about it, where they show Oa, they show you. Let me finish.
I'm letting
you see Kilowog, all of that.
I agree with you on all that.
Is awesome. Like again, I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. Ryan Reynolds did not do that bad, although I will say he probably wasn't the perfect fit for Hal Jordan.
No, he's not.
I will agree with that.
He would have been good. I feel like he would have been better as like. I
I
feel like he would have been better as like a Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner's garbage. So is Kyle Renner.
But
the only two lanterns that matter are Hal Jordan and John Stewart.
What I'm saying is Ryan Reynolds' personality isn't so much of a Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan is very serious, very stoic most of the time.
No, but they've made him the new
now
52,
he's kind of more joking,
like Flash.
No, but he's still pretty like even
serious.
in the newer runs and stuff like that. He's still at heart a very serious character.
But anyways, so let me get back to it. So you see Oa, you see the Guardians, you see all the other lanterns, you get a lot of cool lantern shots and stuff like that. Like that stuff's all cool. Why in God's name they put in that weird fucking Hector monster? I don't understand. Don't understand.
Well, because he's an actual villain too.
I know,
right? But why
Which is
combine
garbage.
him with Parallax and do all that?
And the actual scenes with Parallax are garbage.
And
But
how he
like,
beats Parallax? Are we not going to talk about that?
yeah.
Green Lantern, bunch of fucking rocket ships, throw them into the sun.
Yep. But honestly, like just seeing like it was cool because again, that's all we have as really a frame of reference for Green Lantern is that. Unless you want to count the first 10 seconds or the only 10 seconds where he gets bodied by Steppenwolf in fucking Justice League.
Well, I mean, that's also not the Green Lantern. Like, that's not any Green Lantern.
No, I know, but that is a Green. But that's the only other reference to Green Lantern.
But I mean, think of most of the Guardians that you see in like the animated movies, things like that. They just get stomped out by fucking anything half the time in the background. So like, it's not very surprising that there was a Guardian there who just gets annihilated because
he's not a Guardian. He's a Green Lantern.
Well, Green Lantern, yeah. But like, it's not very surprising that you see.
But anyways, it
happens all the time.
The movie is still not as bad as like. There's been worse superhero movies. There's been way worse superhero movies.
I think there were just a lot of like. Aside from that, I think there were just a lot of things that they just kind of.
Well, I feel like the other thing too is I felt like again, like with a commonality with all these movies, people don't have any idea who the fuck these characters are. Like I feel like your average human being did not know who Kilowog was. Didn't know who Sinestro was. Didn't know who, or definitely did not know who Parallax was. And it's the same thing with Thanos. Like, I can remember going into theaters, seeing those early MCU movies where they're showing Thanos in the end, and people in theaters being like, who the fuck is Thanos? And now all of a sudden Thanos is...
Well, they didn't really, like, for the first time, I think, did they even say Thanos?
No, but they show him in the chair.
I know they show him in the chair.
But what I'm saying...
They gave him a name at that point.
No, they didn't. But, I mean, any comic book fan knew that was Thanos.
I mean, as soon as you see the chair, and you just see this giant fucking purple dude just chilling.
Who can that be?
Vibing in space.
Yes. Or like that. I feel like that's a lot.
I hate how much they set up Lady Death, too. Because, like, even that scene, like, I feel like when you first see him in the end credits, like when he's sitting there, I feel like you could have just like literally photoshopped like a silhouette, like of.
But they didn't do Lady. I think that the reason they didn't do Lady Death, the main reason is because Sony
it was too weird. Yes, that's legitimately the reason why they said they weren't going to do Lady Death was that they felt that Lady Death was too weird of a concept for MCU.
Nah, fucking do it, man. I feel like make it weird.
Saying that the personification of death, which has been something that has existed for millennia now, is too weird. It is weirder than a talking raccoon and a fucking tree that is alive and can speak and can move around freely.
Yeah, but you can make plush toys of the raccoon and the talking tree. You can't make a plush of Lady Death. I mean,
how they can say that that's weirder than Thanos using the Reality Stone to literally turn people into ribbon and then reassembling themselves afterwards.
Sam, I also believe they can make a plush toy of anything.
Well, they can, but I mean, what's Disney gonna push? A plush toy of a raccoon and a tree, or a plush toy of Lady Death?
I mean, but I feel like that's another thing, like what you said earlier, like creativity and stuff like that. Like, I think that's what these movies lack the most of, is imagination and creativity.
They get a lot of shit for that from a lot of people.
Yeah, like a lot of, especially like knowing, like I know the stories. I've read the comics.
It's all formula.
So it's not, that's the thing. So it's not so much that they're not, like a lot of people mix this argument up where like, I'm mad that they're not copying, pasting the comics to movies. I understand they can't do that. I mean, they should just do that, but I understand they can't do that. I understand they can't do that, and they want to be different, and they want to create their own stories, but be more fun. Like, instead of Kevin Feige coming out and saying, yeah, you know what, we're not going to take any chances or risks. Star Wars is a perfect example of that in the new trilogy. They didn't take any risk or chance until virtually, I mean, I guess you could count the second and third movie parts of it, but really they did. They tried to stay along that guided line the whole time.
Well, yeah, they get a lot of critique. The new Star Wars movies get is for following the exact same formula as the
that's
first ones.
That's what I think is going to happen a lot with this new phase for the MCU. Is they're just going to not break the mold, and it's going to fall flat, especially after what they've done and how much people have hyped up Thanos and all that.
I think the thing is, too, is that the problem they're going to face is you have this cast, you know, the first wave of Avengers now, who are kind of immortalized and kind of, I mean, it's almost following literally true to life, like with the actual comics and everything in that aspect. But, like, you have this one that's on all the way up here, and now you're going to bring in this new cast that's going to be starting here. How do you get to that build-up without just literally just copying what this stuff did?
You beg Robert Downey Jr. to stop making Dr. Dolittle movies and come back.
No, but see, that's not.
No, I think they should 100% go in on a new cast.
Yes,
make new original movies.
They need to double down on the fact that they have a new cast. I think they need to double down on the fact that these are new characters and that they can bring in new stories.
But see,
I completely agree.
But see, the risk that they're thinking with that is,
I mean, there's a lot of risk with that.
The main risk is the casting.
Yeah.
It's the casting. They don't want to fuck up the casting because
Yeah.
they casted the first wave
Spot on.
besides Hulk.
Oh, here we go.
Besides Hulk, I want to make that known. Mark Ruffalo is garbage as the Hulk. Besides him,
Okay.
all the other casting's been spot on. So now to go into this new phase where they have to cast a million new characters, which they have to do at this point, if you're going to include X-Men, Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider, fucking all these horror characters like Morbius and Dracula, if they decide to go that route, or the Howling Commandos, wherever they go.
Oh, the Howling Commandos would be so sick.
I'm so upset.
Could you imagine like a 1917 shot movie based around like fucking
World War II?
I would fucking love that.
But I'm saying that kind of cinematography.
Yeah, I would.
The Howling Commandos, that'd be so fucking
I
sick.
would fucking love that. There is nothing I want more than for superhero movies to completely go in the route of having stylizations from other genres of movies.
Yes, I think the whole.
And I'm kind of hoping that the success of Joker kind of pushes them to do that more.
But see, I feel like Deadpool was kind of one of those movies where it pushed the norm, like it pushed it way more into a comedic term.
Yeah.
And that didn't really go anywhere. Like, I mean, yes, Deadpool 2 came out, and that's
honestly, I think Deadpool will be your telltale on how all this new stuff is going to go, because they have to have Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
Yeah.
So they're putting him in the MCU. That's a given. Deadpool, they've said Deadpool is going to be probably the first X-Men or Sony license available so far besides Spider-Man in the MCU. So how they do his character in the MCU is going to be really a telltale, because, I mean, I doubt Disney's going to let him get shot in the asshole on screen like they did with Sony. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, and I think it's going to be a shitty shame. It's just like Sony, or it's just like Disney purchasing Sony and getting licenses like Predator and Alien, where they're like, "Yep, no more. See you later. Too dark." Where those are like franchises that have been around for decades that have a huge cult following, that they're literally
been
just
around for literally over 30 years now. So is Predator.
Yeah, that they're literally just throwing in the garbage and never doing anything with ever
Is
again.
it 40 years now?
First Alien is like it might be. No,
was it like late 70s?
No,
it was early 80s, right?
Yeah, it's like 80s.
Yeah,
I think something. It's before I was born.
84?
I want to say it's before I was born.
I'm gonna search.
Might be like.
Good thing we have computers.
1979.
Oh yeah.
The first Alien movie came out in 1979. So that is now what?
41.
41, yeah. So 41 years that the Alien franchise has existed. To be fair, quite a few of those years were wasted. I would say the last decade or so were pretty wasted.
They've had good starts, but again,
and don't get me wrong, I love Prometheus. I loved Covenant because I am a glutton for punishment, and I will defend Ridley Scott.
Garbage.
I will defend Ridley Scott as long
Scott.
as I live, despite him being absolutely fucking mad and not knowing at all what he's doing.
It's the only time I've ever wanted a face hugger to come to life and fucking embed an alien in my chest was during fucking watching Alien Covenant. That movie was really fucking garbage.
No, I think Covenant gets way too much hate.
Oh my god.
Way too much hate.
I'd rather dip my balls in alien blood than watch that movie.
I don't know. Maybe it's because of like the type of Alien fan that I am. Like I've always been interested in like the etymology of the aliens.
Read a fucking
like
book.
That.
We don't need to see a fucking movie. Oh my god, that movie was so bad.
I like the idea.
I didn't think Prometheus was that good, but I understood it and I thought it was cool. I could get on board with Prometheus.
See, I think
Covenant, no fucking.
I think Prometheus falls shorter than Covenant does.
Oh my god.
Opinion.
What? Yeah. Is that because you actually see an alien for fucking 10 seconds in the end of the movie?
For which one?
In Covenant, you don't see an alien in the first one.
You kind of do, kind of don't.
No,
it's the Deacon,
but it's not.
Who is not a xenomorph?
It's not a xenomorph.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm using the wrong.
Which
xenomorph.
Technically, hate to break it to you, but the Covenant xenomorph isn't actually a xenomorph.
No, I know.
It's called a protomorph.
Yeah, please. Garbage.
I personally don't care because my entire fascination around the Alien franchise has always been seeing them like. I mean, I blame this more so on there was an old Xbox strategy game. It was a RTS called Aliens vs. Predator Extinction. And it was a really cool fucking strategy game because you got to play as I don't even remember what the Space Marines are called, but the Marines You get to play as the alien and the predators, and they all have like different units. They all have obviously all that kind of stuff. But like my fascination was how the aliens always kind of adapt and morph the other native physiology to themselves. And Prometheus showed that a lot with, you know, the black goo. That's how the alien started pretty much. But I liked Covenant so much because it shows that, like, yeah, the aliens could have just, that black goo could have existed for eons and maybe transformed a couple of times, but mainly still stayed the way that it was. But because of David stepping in and altering everything and kind of playing God, and that's really, even Ridley Scott has said this, that's what the Alien franchise has always been about, is humans that try and play God. And it fails and blows up in their face every single fucking time. Now you have the synthetic, and I love like the scenes where it's like Yutani and David interacting, because you see so much of that character building happening already. Like you see David immediately upon being created is already questioning his creator. So you see that kind of evolution taking place in that aspect, and that leads him to try and create him trying to be the creator, which, as we see in later or earlier movies, rather, doesn't work out. But I've always kind of liked that aspect of seeing them evolve and change and adapt and overcome, because they are the perfect life form. But there still needs to be some manipulation in there. And like, I mean, yeah, there's some definitely weird scenes, like where David plays the recorder with himself, pretty much, in a very strange and sexual way.
Awful.
It is strange and sexual.
It's not awful,
Alien 2 is the best one. It's not awful,
though, because throughout all of that scene, there's hidden nuances where David is trying to probe the other synthetic, trying to make him understand his point and trying to make him rationalize with him to betray his fucking human creators. And the other synthetic says, nah, man, fuck that. Like, it's a really cool dynamic. It's kind of like evil versus good in that aspect. I don't know. I think Covenant gets way too much hate. I really do. I think it's a very solid movie. Yeah, there
Alien
were things
2
that
is
were
the best
kind of
one.
wasted. There was
Alien
some bad
2.
aliens.
Alien. But yeah,
Aliens.
The second movie.
Yeah.
The second movie is the best
Don't get me
movie.
wrong, Aliens, yeah. Aliens is probably my personal favorite, too. But
I mean, I think, isn't that like the popular opinion?
yeah, that is like Aliens is
I think for the most part
more
people agree with you on that.
Action horror kind of aspect, where Alien is kind of just
Game
pure
over,
horror.
man. Game over. I have an unpopular opinion about it. I like Alien Resurrection.
And you're shitting on Matt.
Only for the fact that Ron Perlman is in it. Because that's something that I felt like the Aliens movies always lacked, was like,
they didn't need proper
no,
casting.
I'm not saying proper casting. I'm just saying people that I recognize. Like when I was younger, I didn't recognize any of them besides Sigourney Weaver. Like there's actually
Who else do you need to recognize?
Thank you. I mean, throw Alien
Sigourney
1 and
Weaver is
2.
the one that
There was
matters.
no other character I cared about other than Sigourney Weaver and new.
Bill Paxton.
I mean, Bill Paxton's also.
Yeah, but Sigourney Weaver.
I can never remember his name. His Kyle something, but he's the guy.
It begins with an H. I can't think of it.
He's the guy from Terminator 2. He plays Kyle Reed. I think it's Kyle Reed.
I haven't watched Terminator fucking forever.
Yeah.
The Terminator franchise is something that I've tried to blacklist from my brain.
I want to watch the newest one just because I've seen every Terminator movie, but I can't bring myself to watch it. I can't bring myself to watch it.
Yeah,
or like, did you see Sylvester Stallone? That's another thing. Sylvester Stallone just announced Demolition Man 2, which I don't know if either one of you know what Demolition Man is.
I know of it. I've never watched it.
I know of it.
Demolition Man's actually really like a kind of fun and entertaining movie, like just because like the stuff.
That was the 80s, right?
No, 90s.
Was it?
Yeah. It's
90s film, man.
Fucking Sylvester Stallone film.
90s film is like
that's the first movie where you can actually understand his dialogue in.
Look, I put subtitles on every fucking movie. I can't understand anyone's dialogue.
Speaking of Terminator, he's in Mortal Kombat 11, right? Yeah. Did you see who was the first announcement for the new DLC pass for?
I feel like I did, but I already forgot.
RoboCop.
I also forgot about
RoboCop.
I forgot.
Really?
Fucking RoboCop is going to be in MK11, and
oh my fucking god!
I remember
talk about awful 80s, 90s movies.
No, I love RoboCop.
I mean, it's awful, but like I've watched them, I've seen them.
It's a very cheesy and corny movie, but like again, it was kind of in an age where that cheesiness and corniness hadn't been established.
That was honestly a remake that I didn't mind.
I actually did kind of like the new.
So did I. Yeah. Like I thought it was pretty fucking like updated and spot on to the original.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely cool. I like the suit redesign too a lot. I like it look much more like. I mean, the first suit is classic, like unbeatable. But the reimagined suit, very sleek, very modernized. I think it worked very well.
That might be one of the only sequels or reboots that I can say was actually successful.
I mean,
I'm trying to think of another one.
I was gonna say you're like in your personal opinion, one that you liked. Yeah, I
for lack of thinking of other ones, but
I'm trying to think of another one I like.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact like for Mortal Kombat, like I remember with MK9 when they like introduced like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, and
thinking like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, he was really cool in the game, but like, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, what? Freddy Krueger? Why is he just being thrown into this game? And then MK10 came out. And they fucking throw in Predator, Xenomorph, Leatherface, Jason, and it's just like, holy shit! I don't even think in MK10 there was an actual. I think there may have been like one or two actual Mortal Kombat characters that were DLC, and the rest were like movie characters that they threw in.
I fucking love that.
Thinking about that too, I feel like there's no good new age horror movies too.
You gotta look.
You're gonna tell me there's no good fucking horror movies and then refuse to watch The Lighthouse?
You gotta look for them, and I mean, most of them are like a lot of the good horror movies now aren't.
There's a lot of
named. Like there a lot of like indie kind of.
I'm not gonna say that I was ever like huge into the horror genre.
There are a lot of good new horror movies.
When do you think they're gonna reboot The Thing?
They did.
Actually, because it was like a reboot, kind of.
I give like 2 more years of weird January horror movies, and then The Thing remake will be one.
God, I hope not.
I mean, I honestly enjoy. Like, I've never considered myself a huge horror genre fan.
Yeah.
But like zombie movies are probably one of my favorite genres. Like I love obviously Ash vs. Evil Dead, that genres. I've seen most of the Freddy Krueger films, the Jason, or Friday the 13th, whatever.
I will say I've only like recently have gotten into the horror genre because I used to not like horror movies.
Yeah.
Not to be a stereotype of women, but I used to not like horror movies at all. And now I've gotten like very into the genre.
I just find them, for the most part, the horror movie genre are probably some of the most predictable films you could ever watch.
You need to be watching, like, Midsummer and, like, Hereditary and, like, that shit. The Witch. Well, does The Witch count as new?
I gotta say,
2015. I'm going to count The Witch.
I honestly prefer horror TV shows to horror movies.
Did you ever watch, is it the...
Like, have you ever watched...
Is it The Autopsy of Jane Doe, I think? That was on Netflix. That was pretty good. No.
Yeah.
Have you seen have you ever watched on Netflix, Sam, Hemlock Grove?
No, but I've heard about that.
A while ago.
That's
really cool. I've heard that was good.
Or did you watch Penny Dreadful?
No, but I've also heard that was good.
That's
a TV show, right?
It's a TV show that I really enjoyed. Like I've watched through it twice. It was really
There's a good horror movie on Netflix. It's called The Endless.
I feel like I watched that.
It's about these guys that go back to a cult. Like they grew up in a cult and they escaped the cult and now they go back to the cult and there's a bunch of like weird sci-fi elements and stuff. Big fan. It's like kind of weird, but it's good. I'm trying to think of other new horror movies I would recommend because I have not watched.
Maybe good is not the correct terminology, but I feel like there's no like actual like when Jason came out or like his character or like Freddy, like those characters are like very
genre defining.
Yeah, iconic. But I mean, Bruce Campbell is Ash.
Like, I feel like that.
I think Midsummer had a pretty big cultural movement.
The thing is,
you know how many girls dressed as Florence Pugh in Midsummer for Halloween?
It's less about like one entity of evil that is terrorizing all these things and more so about like the psychological
like
evil.
I can't stand like
which is why I love new horror movies
and that type of shit.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. I think like those kind of movies are really bad, but I'm a fan of like thriller, psychological.
Literally, me too.
I love
Matt.
That shit.
Matt, did you ever watch Black Swan?
I've seen parts. I've never watched it fully.
Because I'm going to recommend Black Swan. It is, first of all, 90 minutes long. We know how I love a fucking short-ass movie. It is so fucking good. Stars Natalie Portman, like, big fucking fan. Big Wreck, Black Swan, a movie that came out, like, 10 fucking years ago.
Yeah, it came out, like, I think it came out, like, 2007.
No.
It came out in 2010.
Yeah.
I fact-checked myself while bringing it up.
Is that, after that. I mean, I just feel like, I feel like that's, in general in Hollywood, like, there's no, like, genre-defining things really happening. Like, I feel like...
Frank, you really got to get into the indie movie scene. I am begging you.
I do not want to watch films shot on people's homemade cameras.
Okay, you don't fight. I will let The Lighthouse go. But just in
I certainly don't want to watch fucking black and white movies, Sam.
I just said I'll let it go, Frank. It's fine. But you, honestly, if you want genre-defining movies, you gotta, like, expand into these fucking weird-ass movies.
Well, I feel like that, like, you know, like, thinking back to, like, Ash vs. Evil Dead, like, that was shot indie style, like, all that. But, like...
That's why people like it.
But what I'm saying is, like, I feel like you have to either have a great catalyst or a great actor in it. And I feel like the movies that interest me, like the storylines that interest me in these indie films, I feel like they lack both or one main thing that I just can't.
Frank, you can find new actors.
I feel, but I mean, I know a lot of different actors, Sam. Like, I would consider myself to be, like, I've seen a lot of movies. And
yeah, so please dive into these weird movies, Frank. Speaking of weird movies, I fucking watched The Lobster this week. That's another weird ass movie. Big recommend.
That's with Colin Farrell. Colin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I watched that too.
I liked it. Did you like it? You're gonna tell me you didn't like it.
Honestly, I like. Oddly enough, like some of those weird, like, have you ever seen In Bruges? I think it's In Bruges or In Bruges with Colin
No, but
Farrell.
I've heard about it. It's on like my watch list.
It's literally a whole movie where like two hitmen go to like Bruges, like it's a small city in the UK, and I think it's in the UK, and they literally go there to like escape someone hunting one of them, and they just literally end up like dying, and like it's just like a quirky like weird thing.
Yeah.
Like I thought that movie was really good. But again,
I liked The Lobster
that's like a story arc of a movie that I would not have given a shit about. But like Colin Farrell's in it. And I always forget the other guy who's in it too. He's another popular character actor. He's in Gangs of New York.
I don't know.
I feel like that you have to have one or the other. And I feel like a lot of new movies don't have either.
Well, just watch them anyway. Just, again, we're quarantined. Fucking watch them anyway.
I'm just wasting my time watching Supernatural, Sam.
I mean, I'm kind of glad you're watching Supernatural because, I mean, that was a big cultural moment, and it's a good show. But, yeah. Oh, would you count the Cloverfield movies as good new horror? Like no. Cloverfield and 10 Cloverfield Lane? Because I would count them.
Okay, and the Cloverfield Paradox. Don't forget the third one.
I'm not. I purposely left the Cloverfield.
Honestly,
I heard Cloverfield Paradox was actually pretty good.
I didn't think
it was very good.
It got shit all over, but I thought it was better than the second one.
See, I liked 10 Cloverfield Lane though because I loved that tight setting and having just your like three characters be really fucking good.
That movie you could have shot in 30 seconds. You could have had her show up, fall in love with the guy get melted in acid, and her escape. Done.
Like yeah, but you build tension.
That ruined the entire movie.
Tension. You're building tension.
And honestly, it would have been better if they showed John Goodman eating the guy instead of him melting in acid. Because I feel like that would be.
I disagree. Melting in acid was pretty fucking cool. But you got to build the tension, Frank. That's why it's a fucking movie, not a commercial.
That is one movie that I will say, if it wasn't shot so well and didn't use the actors they used in the second and third one, that I would have shit all over for not showing the monster.
I mean, when you and then the second one, when you build a movie that's literally just going to be three characters interacting for 2.5 hours in basically a room, obviously you're going to cast good people.
Like,
because otherwise it's trash.
Like, I would like to see a movie that actually is centered around the monster now that we've gotten 3 movies that aren't centered around the monster.
Well, the Cloverfield Paradox kind of puts that all on its head.
Yeah, I know.
Well, granted, you know. Do you really want another Cloverfield movie?
If they show the monster, probably. I'm a big monster fan, so.
Monster horror. That's fair.
I love gigantic things destroying.
No wonder you don't like new horror.
I like gigantic things destroying cities, Sam.
Godzilla.
Like, I'm super psyched for the new Godzilla movie.
Me fucking too.
And I personally like to punch people in the face when they complain about the, what is it, King of Monsters?
The last movie, right?
Yeah.
Monsters.
Because that movie was, like, really good. And people complain that there was too much monsters.
I can't believe they made me care.
I can't believe you would complain that there's too many monsters.
People literally.
That was like the major critic.
Yeah, I know.
Review was there's not enough humans.
Completely
not
disagree.
Yeah.
I
mean, personally, I think the people at the Rotten Tomatoes should have their skin peeled off. But
I mean, Rotten Tomatoes is only about money.
True, but I'm just saying in general, I think they should have their skin peeled off in the theater,
Yeah.
and then be forced to watch the movie that they're shitting all over.
And be forced to watch the movie that's shitting all over. I mean, yeah, you gotta take Rotten Tomatoes with like a grain of salt. Like,
Yeah, I don't ever
grain
pay
of tomato.
I don't ever pay attention. I don't ever pay attention.
No, I never give a fuck about what Rotten Tomatoes think.
I'll usually look at it just to get an idea, but I'll 9 times out of 10 just see the movie.
I'll look at
it.
users or consumers.
I'll look at it in the fact that when you go to buy movie tickets online, it usually tells you.
True.
Then I see it, but I try to go into a movie with as little knowledge about the movie as humanly fucking possible.
I can't do that though, Sam. And it's not even the fact of like I look for it. It's like, I mean, especially a lot of movies they're doing now are book related or comic book related that I've already read or already know about.
Well, that's different. Obviously, I'm not going into Spider-Man like, oh, I don't know anything about Spider-Man.
I feel like 90% of the people that saw Spider-Man do though.
Know nothing about Spider-Man?
Yes.
I feel like Spider-Man is the most known about character.
Maybe.
Mainly because they've had to state his origin 3 fucking times.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
how many fucking origin stories have we got?
I honestly just want to see a Batman movie where it's just his parents getting shot for 90 minutes. I feel like they just need to skip all the steps of Batman and just, like, this new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson should open up with him in that one scene where he's on the motorcycle and then just show his parents getting shot over and over again. I think we're going to call it.
Is that it? Are we done?
That's where I'm leaving it.
I mean, I have legitimately nothing else to talk about.
No, I feel like we talked about a lot, so.
So next week we'll be back. Keep up on our Facebook, social media, stuff like that for any updates, like of the reopen and stuff like that. We should be posting soon, hopefully. Cross our fingers that quarantine does end. Hopefully after I finish Supernatural, because I'll never finish it if I'm not in quarantine. And then that's it. So anything else to add?
Nope.
Thanks for listening.
That's a wrap. Thanks for listening.